How you doing today, guys? Welcome back to another day of 7th grade math. This is Mr. Gomez, your favorite teacher in the whole world. And today, we're going to be adding and subtracting signed fractions. By signed fractions, we mean positives and negatives, okay? So, in this, I'm only going to be working on this problem right here, the first, number 1. And it says, Nathan runs 3 1/4 miles every morning and 2 2/3 of miles every evening for 5 days. What is the total distance Nathan runs in 5 days? So like the title says right here, we're either going to be adding or subtracting. But however, this one is going to be kind of like a two steps. Okay? Before we go on, if you haven't, please subscribe, turn the notification bell on, all that good stuff. If you're new here, welcome to this channel. Check out the other videos. I have a lot of videos about adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing rational numbers, as long with a lot of 7th grade material. So let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so we're gonna analyze. I know that he's gonna be running 3 1/4 miles in the morning every day, and I think that's gonna be one of our keywords. What does and tells you to do? And tells you to add. Okay, and we're gonna add 2/3 every evening. But then we also have this thing that says for 5 days. So I know that I'm going to have to add 3 1/4 and 2/3 to find out what? What am I finding out whenever I add those two?
How many miles he runs for 5 days? How many miles he runs?
In 1 day. Okay? And then, what does 4 tells you to do? For 5. What does that tells you to do? Times 5. Very good. So, we're going to analyze. I know that 3 1/4 in the morning. And I know I'm going to add 2 2/3 in the evening. So far, so good? However, we have mixed numbers, and I have a short video on YouTube and also on TikTok about converting mixed numbers into improper fractions, because we can't just add like that. Now, we can also convert this into decimals and then add them like that, because a quarter is 0.25. So 3 1/4, it'll be 3.25. However, the next fraction is a repeating decimal. So when we add it, we will not have an exact answer. We will have an approximate answer, and we don't want that. So we're going to have to leave this answer as a fraction, either mixed or improper, and we talked about that towards the end. Okay? So in this case, what I want to do, and like I did on the little short the other day, we're going to have to convert those mixed numbers into...
Decimals.
No, I said not decimals today. Fractions. We're going to convert them into improper fractions. And we're going to do 2 steps. What do? Multiply, then add in this direction. Okay? We're going to do the same thing for both of them. Multiply, then add in this direction. So if we look at the first one, this is going to be equivalent to, what is 4 times 3? 12. And add 1? 13. The denominator stays the same. So far, so good? All right. So for the next one, what is 3 times 2?
6.
Plus 2 is? 8 on my world. The denominator stays the same. Okay? So far, so good. Any complications in this thing right here?
No.
Okay. Very good. Now, I can also do this kind of like in a little visual representation. I'm going to write this on the side and then erase it. Or on the bottom. Let me show you something. For example, if I have the number 3 1/4, that means I have 3 wholes and a quarter of the other one. So if I divide this into 4, okay, that means that I'm gonna fill out 3 complete ones. This is the same thing as this one. Visual representation. I'm gonna fill out 2 of this one. That's 2 wholes. 3 wholes, and then what? Only 1 out of the 4, right? So if I look at this and I count all of the ones that I shaded in, how many did I shade it in total? 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, right here. 13 out of how many holes? 4. Isn't that the representation as the other one? So you can visually see what's happening if you do it like this. So if you're not sure, you can break it down like this as well. Okay? Hope this helps. Now, let's move on. Now, we're going to plan and solve. So I know that 13/4 is the same thing as 3 1/4. And I know that 8/3 is the same thing as 2 2/3. Right? However, when we add or subtract fractions, we have to have one thing in common. One thing in common. What is that? What is it called? What do we need to have in common? The denominator. Do we have the same denominator on both of them? No. So that means we gotta find a common denominator. Want me to do it the long way or the fast way? The fast way. So pay attention. Okay? So to find, add, or subtract fractions, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start over here on the top. Cross multiply. I'm gonna multiply those two. Okay? What is 13 times 3?
49.
Not 49, but 39. And you're gonna put it right here first. Okay? And then I'm gonna take these two and I'm also gonna multiply them. What's 8 times 4? 32. Put it right here. Then I'm gonna take this sign and put it right here because we're adding. If it was subtracting, what would you put in there? Minus, right? Now I gotta find my denominator. So for that, let me pick another color. I'm gonna take these two. I'm gonna multiply them. What is 4 times 3? 12. And there you go. You have a common denominator. It might not necessarily be the least common denominator, but it will be common and you can work with that. If it's not the least common denominator, the worst case scenario, at the end you will have to simplify. Okay? Now, all we have to do at this point is add the top. What is 39 plus 32? Very good. So this is going to be 71 over 12. So what did we just find? We just found this right here. How many days is that? Only one day, right? The morning and the afternoon. 71/12 of a mile every day. Per day. So what do we have to do now?
You need to see how many it is for 5 days.
So how will we multiply by 5, right? Now let me show you a quick thing to find a common denominator, the least common denominator, if you want to do the long way. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to start writing down the times table for 4. What is 4? 8, 12, 16. Let's stop right here. And then for 3, we have 3, 6, 9, 12. Did it repeat already?
Mm-hmm.
This will be my least common denominator if you were to do it like that. Okay? Now we got 71 over 12 per day. But we have how many days?
5.
So we're going to multiply this times 5. So we're going to multiply this times 5 days. However, one of them is a fraction, improper, and the other one is a whole number. So we got to turn that whole number into a fraction. How do we do that?
Divide. Multiply.
How do we turn any whole number, any integer into a fraction?
Oh, put over
Put it over
1.
1. Put it over 1. You just put it over 1. That's a fraction now. Now, when we multiply or divide, we don't care about the denominator. We don't have to have the same denominator. Okay? So on a multiplication, all we got to do is multiply straight across. Okay? Now let's multiply this real fast. You can do it on the side, but I'm just going to round this to 70. Instead of 71, what is 70 times 5? Or 7 times 5?
7 times 5? 42. 35.
35. Add the 0. 350. But I also have how many more ones? How many more ones? 5. So it's going to be 355. What, mister? Okay, the bottom is 12, right? How did I get 55? 71 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 7 is 35. There you go. I just did it on my head. Okay? So now, are we done?
No.
Kind of. You gotta look at the answer choices. Are the answer choices mixed numbers, decimals? What are they? I don't know. Either way, we're gonna change this into a mixed number because it's easier to see. If I tell you I run 355 over 12 miles, you're gonna be like, what? Makes no sense, right? So how do we change this back into a mixed number? TiVo. That means 355 goes inside, 12 goes outside. Be careful with divisions. You gotta start from the first digit. So those 12 go into 3. No, so put a placeholder on top of the 3 or put a 0. I don't care. Just don't put anything on top of the 3. If you want to put a placeholder to make you remember, please do that. Does 12 go into 35? Yes. It's going to go 2 times. Very good. And 2 times 12 is 24. You're going to subtract and you get 11. What do we do next? Bring that 5 down because we haven't finished. And 12 goes into 115 how many times?
5.
No, more than 5?
No, 7.
Not 10, less than 7?
7.
Not 7, more than 7?
8.
More than 8?
9.
9. It's going to be 9. 9 times 12 is going to be what?
108.
108. Okay? You subtract and you get
3.
7.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, if you're going to leave your answer as a mixed number, you stop right here. If you want to leave your answer as a decimal, you add a decimal, add a 0, and move 2 more times. Okay? 200ths place. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to write this as a mixed number. But mister, I forgot how to write this as a mixed number. Not a problem. The 29, the 29, the number on top, this is going to be your whole number. Your remainder is going to be your numerator. And this is going to be your denominator. So you're going to write this how? 29 and 7/12. So about 29 and a half miles, almost. A little over 29 and a half miles. Any questions on this? That was for the 5 days. All right. So again, key points right here. If you have mixed numbers, change them into improper fractions. Unless you can change them into non-repeating decimals. If you can do non-repeated decimals, it'll be way faster. This case we couldn't, so we change them into improper fractions. Then we have to find the common denominator. And I'll show you the fast way to do that. And then, since this was the first part, the second part was to multiply by 5 because there was 5 days. We multiplied, we had a whole number. We put a 1 under the whole number to make it into a fraction. And we multiply fractions straight across. At the end, either simplify or change it into a mixed number again or a decimal by doing TiVo. Any questions so far? All right, so I hope that you learned something today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, turn the notification bell on. Other than that, that's going to wrap it up for today. And I'll see you in the next one. Let's ride. Goodbye.